that's it, that forward thinking. Obviously, it's very beneficial. I mean, we look at John, he was a visionary, but he actually didn't, he had a vision of something that would not be a Band-Aid, in treating. But beyond that, he didn't have a vision as such of how it was going to look in the future.
Yeah.
He liked to daydream, but it was just that seed, and then out of that sprouted this, or maybe that's possible, and maybe that's possible. So
which was sometimes, I mean, being around Body Talk for some time, which was sometimes kind of the frustration with John, because he'd say like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, gonna do this, like, okay. Like, then some of that panned out and some of it did not.
Didn't. Yeah.
Yet. So it's that's interesting. But it makes me think of, I mean, what you just said is particularly what made me think about this is the vision board idea. I mean, that's so opposite to like most of a lot of the like new agey or spiritual kind of create your own destiny kind of mentality that's out there right now. Like, yeah, I need to visualize. And even the way, the way some people use Mindscape, like I'm going to go to the screen of the mind and I'm going to visualize this and I'm going to, visualize this particular outcome and I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to make it happen.
Pull it in. Yeah.
Yeah. Just plug it in. I'll just kind of convince myself, or the idea of, affirmations. We talk about that. I mean, I talk about that in my BodyTalk classes. I don't know how many other instructors do, but and this just kind of ties back into the whole negative process, positive process piece of, an affirmation is just putting a Band-Aid on something. It's putting a Band-Aid on something. I mean, why do I need to convince myself of something that if I know something is true, then I don't need to convince myself of it.
That it is, yeah.
Telling myself over and over that, I'm amazing, I am powerful, I am successful, right? Because that just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, there's so many core misunderstandings. I think that some, maybe many, maybe most, I don't know, practitioners seem to walk away from in BodyTalk. And this isn't, it's not to, I mean, we all have our own filters, right? And we're all kind of learning things and taking in information. And really, how many of us are actually experiencing the reality? Not many. So we're always, the mind is always distorting information, and then we're reacting and responding not to the reality, we're reacting and responding to the distortion, right? The stories that our mind is booting up. And, I mean, I feel sometimes like I just kind of go off on all these little tangents, like there's so much information that wants to come out, but, I see this tying in with, active memory. It's just, there are these buttons that get pushed. And then, coming back to some of the things that you said earlier, both of you, with the idea of something like the active memory technique, like, oh, I'm just going to do this active memory technique, or the client will have this active memory technique, and then the client feels better, or whatever the technique is, whether it's, an affirmation or some other kind of modality, whatever's out there. And then they feel better. They feel kind of a relief, but it's so different. I mean, you were talking about this, we talked about this yesterday, I think, Esther, I was asking you about this, about the difference between, a modality like that, or a technique like active memory, where you address whatever the emotionally charged experience was using the technique or whatever technique, or you're addressing the belief system. So tying into what you said, like, oh yeah, I'll just tap out that belief system and make that belief system go away.
Go away.
Get rid of that belief system, right? That you hear a lot of people talking about that. I just want to get rid of these beliefs. But it's so different from doing the technique without the understanding of breakthrough versus having that understanding and the experience, really the experience of breakthrough, the experience of leading someone through the breakthrough steps process and the experience of being led through the process and even observing someone being led through the process. It's much different to be applying those modalities or doing that technique or body talk session with that understanding rather than from the place of, I'm going to do this technique and now the belief system is going to go away. Now I no longer believe that to be true. So it's an issue, and somehow you put it in the trash, you drag it to your trash bin in your computer and you hit delete and it's gone. It's gone forever. Right? But that's just not how it is.